What was I saying?
Assignment.
Yes, we have a lot to catch up. So we'll start back our evening class tomorrow, the night class. And then, of course, this week we're going to have New Year Eve and things like that. So next year, next week, we'll try to see if the Friday evenings we have time. We'll try to slot in that as well to catch up a lot of things. Because your test 2 is supposed to cover until chapter 8. Now we're still in chapter 2. So it's a long way to go. Yes. Chapter 8 is towards the end. So you can anticipate a lot of things we have to catch up. So anyway, let's not waste time. So earlier the test was supposed to be this week, but it's not possible because there's no point having test 2 without touching chapter 8 because it's supposed to cover up to that course outcomes. So we'll wait and try to finish it and we'll touch. Okay? Okay, the next subtopic that we're going to go is on logic instructions. So there are a few logic instructions that we're going to see. Of course, the table pointer, the previous topic is table pointer, and we have concluded the table pointer with a very nice exercise for you all to actually do, try out. I hope you have learned a lot from that. So next we're going to move on to the logic instructions. Now, there are these are all the instructions related to logic instructions. We have AND operation, we have complement, we have inclusive OR. Inclusive OR is normal OR operation. We have negate, negate is actually performing choose complement, complement, exclusive OR. So basically we have 3 types of logical operations in the broad sense. We have AND operation, we have inclusive OR which is OR, and we also have exclusive OR. So we're going to see these 3 logic instructions, they have certain set of applications. We can actually use them for certain set of applications. So these are some of the applications of the logic instructions. The first one is to set the bits. Set means to make the bits into 1. 2 is to clear, and 3 is to toggle. Now we'll see how we can use these logic operations to achieve these applications. So before we do that, let us actually try to study the nature of these logic operations. For that, you need to know the truth table. Okay, let's see the first truth table for the OR operation. These are the two inputs because whenever you want to perform logical operations, minimum you need how many inputs? Okay, you need to have two inputs. This is the output that you get. So 0, 0 you get 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And truth table 0, 0, 0. Or truth table 'and study their characteristics. They actually exhibit a certain type of characteristics. Now, this is not based on application, because there are three types of application. In terms of the logic applications, we have first set, second is here, third is this logic operation has this sort of application. Now let us take one example. This is a location in data memory. Can you give an address? First that quick, any address? Next? Next one, two. Okay, fine. Next one, next. In one location we have 8 bits, right? Now let's say assuming initially inside this data memory location hex 12, you have this value. Now let's say you want to actually make this particular bit to become 1. How can you actually do that? What type of operation is this? If I just want to manipulate this one particular bit, what type of operation is this? Yes? It's actually bit oriented. Right. So what's the instruction that I can use to set bit number 4 to 1? Open your instruction set. After after the holiday, don't give break to your instruction set. You still need to use them. Which instruction that we can use to actually set? Which set, right? Which set F. So you can actually use that. So there are instructions that you can, there are the bit instructions that you can use to actually manipulate each one of these bits. Of course, later we'll see what's the advantage of using logical operations to do the same thing. Now, if you notice that when you want to perform such operations, set, clear or toggle in the content of a file register, you notice that you only have one input, right? This is the only input that you have. Optionally, of course, like what we discussed earlier just now, that if you want to perform these operations, clear, set or things like that, you can use the bit-oriented instructions to do that. Now let's say if we want to use logic operations to achieve such a thing. If you note that for logic operation, you must have minimum of 2 inputs. But for now we only have one value only. So we need to have the other one. So if you put that on hold, let's try to actually study the characteristics of this. So when we want to actually manipulate the content of any file register, we also need the second input, right? The second input is also known as the masking bits. The second input will be known as the masking bit. So this one will be your input. Your input means the content, the other one is the masking bit. Now the masking bit, because we are dealing with binary, there are 2 possibilities of choosing a masking bit. Either you choose the masking bit to become 1 or choose the masking bit to become 0. So let's see for the odd truth table. So we use this side as your masking bits. This is the content of one example. So if you see 0011, it's already categorized. So what we'll do now is we want to see when the masking bit is 0, what is the nature exhibited by OR, and if the masking bit is 1, what is the nature exhibited by OR. So let's say if the masking bit is 0, what is the relationship between the input and the output?
Same.
Yes, they are the same. When masking bit is 0 for OR, when the masking bit is 0, the input and the output are the same. But when the masking bit is 1, what is the relationship between the input and output?
Always 1.
Don't see the masking, see the relationship between this one and this one. Only the input and the output. Yes, it has a setting kind of nature, right? If it's 0, it makes it 1. If it's 1, it maintains 1. So which means it has the nature to set. So what can you conclude from here? Whenever you use the masking bit 0, it will preserve the original input value. Whenever you use the masking bit 1, it will set that particular bit into 1. Coming back to this example, we want to actually set only bit number 4, right? So remember, this is our one input, which is the content of our register. We need another input, which is known as the masking bit. Now we need to select what is the masking bit that we should put at each one of these locations. That's why we studied the nature of this. So because we are only interested in making this particular bit to become 1, so what should be the masking bit at this position? Masking bit should be 1 or 0?
1.
Why should be 1? Because in this position we want to make it
1.
1. So the masking bit here you should write 1. The rest?
0.
Why 0? When you put 0, it will preserve the original value. So 0. Now when you perform OR operation, you will realize that this will get 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. So did you make this particular bit become 1? Then of course this example looks too easy lah. 0. You say, sir, you said if you use 0 it will preserve the original value. What if we put 1 here? What will be 1 or with 0 you get 1, right? So did it preserve the original value? Come again? Here you'll be lucky lah. If you put 1, yes, you get 1. But if it's 0, let's say here 0, right? If you put 1 here, you get 1. Wrong answer. So from here, there are only 2 options for masking bit. Either you use 0 or 1. But what's the nature? When you use 0, the original value is preserved. But whenever you use the masking bit 1, it will set the value to 1. So in this case, because we want to set the bit number 4, so the masking bit we make at this position, we make it 1. The rest we put it 0. Can you understand? Is there any question on this?
So just now you said that if it's the second one, right? If it's 0 and you try to make it 1, it's wrong. Also.
No, it's not wrong. Even was asking. For this case, if we put the masking bit 1, you still get correct answer. Right? 1, 1, of course it's 1. What I'm trying to say is, if here is 0 means 0, 1, you get 1, 1. Which is wrong. You're not preserving the real value. So to conclude on the OR, the bit position that you want to set, you use masking bit 1. The rest, you leave it masking bit 0 so that it will preserve the original value. Can you follow? Now of course previously, as I mentioned, we saw in the instruction set that we have already instruction which can do this, right? We already saw the bit set F. What's the need of using this logical operation? The advantage here is, whenever you use the logical operation, you can actually manipulate the bits more than 1 bit. You can manipulate more than 1 bit at one time. That's the advantage. Whereas the bit set instruction, you can only do that only for 1 location bit. But this one you can do more than 1 bit location. So let's say in this take another example. This assuming that we have such value inside. Now let's say we want to set this bit, and this bit. We want to set bit number 2, bit number 3 and bit number 5. Do you understand when I say we want to set means what? 1. We want to make it 1. So now we have to select the masking bits. So what should be the masking bit?
0, 0.
Should be 0, 0. Here should be 1. Why? Because this is at this position that we want to make it 1. This one is 0, we want to maintain. This is 1, 1, 0. So let's see, are we getting the answer? 0, 1, it preserves the original. 0, 0, still preserves the original. Here it makes it 1, makes it 1. This one, it preserves the original value. This one, make it 1. This is preserved, preserved. So do you see he actually managed to set while maintaining the rest? Any question? I think that you don't understand.
Okay.
So how do we actually do this? How do we actually write this instruction? Remember that this is the inclusive OR instruction. We can perform inclusive OR between working register and also file register. So the file register content is already whatever the content of the file register that you want to manipulate. The masking bit is what we want to load inside the working register. So what is this masking bit in hex? This is hex 2C, right? This is hex 2C. So how you can write this is you can move literal value hex 2C, which is the masking bit, into working register, and then you perform inclusive OR working register with file register. File register address is, well, now we want it to be in the same destination, and because this is 2 hex digit, it is access band. So just now the example that we did, this is how we do it. This is the 2C is actually the masking bit. But I prefer to write the masking bit in binary format. So instead of writing like this, it's better if you can write like this. In binary format. So it will be much more easier for you to see. Have you selected the correct masking bit? Is there any question up to this point? No. So to conclude on the OR truth table, it is actually used for set operation. And the masking bit to set is 1. The masking bit to set is actually 1. What do I mean by that is, when the masking bit is actually 1, it actually has the setting nature. When it's 0, it actually maintains the previous one. Is that okay? Any question? Any questions? Let's see, can we see the next one? Let's see the AND truth table. Again the same thing. This will be the masking bit, this will be the let's see the nature of the masking bit for AND truth table. When the masking bit is 0, what is the relationship between the input and the output? Yes, it has a clearing nature. 0 becomes 0, 1 becomes 0. How does it behave when the masking bit is 1? It maintains the input and output is the same. So you would have gotten the idea. Therefore this the masking bit should be 0 if you want to set. So let's take example. Can you give address? Can you give an address? 60. assuming inside this initially got this such value. Let's say if you want to clear these 3 bits. Of course, you have the clear bit option also, BCF, in the bit oriented operation, but you need to perform it 3 times if you want to have 3 bits to be clear. Whereas this one, in one step, you can perform all 3 at one time. So if these are the bit position that we want it to clear, how should our masking bit should be like? This one should be what? 1 will maintain the original 0 0 1 0 0 1 1. So this is your masking bit. So let's see if are we getting the answer. So this one you see maintains. This one it makes it clear. This one it maintains. This one it maintains. This one clear, clear. This one it maintains. So you see that between it clear. It's 3 bits. So for AND it is actually used for clear operation. The masking bit is clear. Okay. Of course, I didn't write the other counterpart, which means 0 means it maintains original number. The 1 means it maintains the original number. Is there any question up to this point? Don't worry about writing. Worry about understanding. Yeah.
This will use how do you get value carry against it?
Come again?
How do you use the value to carry against? Like originally it's 1 1 1 0 1 0.
Okay.
Then how do you use the value? How do you get the value?
The masking bit. This one is based on what we want to do. I just mentioned that we want to clear, let's say if we want to do the operation, we want to clear bit number 5, 4 and bit number 1. So if we want to do clear operation, we should use AND operation. Because AND operation is now we saw, it has the nature to be clear. But then what is the masking bit? Because masking bit you have 2 options, either it should be 0 or 1. So the masking bit should be 0 for the position where you want it, where you want to clear the bit. So therefore, at bit number 5, 4 and 1, the masking bit is 0. Do you see this? And the remaining is 1 because when you put 1, you get back the original value. So that's how you get this masking bit. Is that okay?
Yang last kali mana kita boleh okey. Kalau macam ni, kalau 1 kita follow kan?
Huh?
Set kalau masking bit 1.
Instruction will be same like that.
Kalau ni 0 follow 0
B 1 1 0 0 1 0 1. Then and W is the same like that. Only thing that inclusive OR becomes A and D. Yes.
So big 3 and big 0, y 1.
Come again?
Big 3 and big 0, y 1.
Bit 3 and
0,
Y 1. Now the 1 here is to maintain the original value. Our interest is actually only to focus on the bits that we want to clear. These are the bits that we want to clear, right? So when the position of the bit that you want to clear, you must use masking bit 0. So because when you use masking bit 0, what it does to the input, it makes it 0. For the remaining one, other than that, we use masking bit 1 because masking bit 1 gives back the same as the input. That's why the rest all we maintain as 1. Is it okay? Any other question?
So that means the value that we're going to load into the
Yes, is the masking bit. Yes. Huh? There's a question.
Last then 1
Can you take come here? One manual full of chemical. இதுதான் வந்து நீ மாற்ற போற இந்த 3 இது இருக்குமா அதை மட்டும் தான் மாற்றி அதாவது ஒன்றுன்னா 0 0 வந்து 1 பட் 1 0 போட்டால் அது மாறும் புரியுதா அதான் முடியாது.
Can we move on to the next one? Now, exclusive for.
One full of them. Manual 0, 1 full.
Again, we divide into two types of masking bit. 0. When you use masking bit 0, what is the relationship between input and output? Yeah, the same. When you use masking bit 1, what is the relationship into output? Yes, toggle. 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 0. So it has a toggling nature. And what should be the masking bit for toggle? 1. If you use 0, it preserves the original value. So this is for toggle operation.
Birthday கூப்பிடல பார்த்துருந்தோம். அவனுக்கு காசு சொல்லிட்டு பர்த்டே எப்படி
So yeah, I forgot to tell. Most of you did test one very average. Most of you are PE and which is quite disappointing. Only some got, very few got more than some. I think 2 got more than 8. Maybe tomorrow you get a paper. But then the thing is, it's relatively simple. I just don't know how to explain it anymore. But that's one, the first question, second question, and the fourth question. It's like same. But a lot of you lose a lot of marks there. Question number 3, I know a lot of you lose some marks. But question 1 to 4, it's a waste actually. Anyway, you can always learn from mistakes. Okay, which number bit that you feel like toggling? Okay. People say you want to toggle everything. If you want to toggle everything, you can use complement and maybe choose the other things. Yes, if you want to toggle everything, you can use complement. That's a complement instruction. Toggle everything. So choose any other. 7, 5, 3. Choose another one.
தெரியும்டா.
Okay. 0. So these are the bit position that we want to toggle. So what is the masking bits? You should give for this position. 1, it should be 1, it should be 1, it should be 1, and it should be 1. The rest? 0. So let's see, are we getting the 1, 1? 0, 1? 1, 1. So the instructions for this would be this one would be when you stop at answer, this one answer will stop back. So just to conclude of the application of logic instructions, we have learned about 3 logic instructions. The first is inclusive OR, which is OR. Then we have the AND operation and also the exclusive OR. Now the OR operation has the setting nature, and the masking bit should be 1. When you use masking bit 0, it will preserve the original value. The second one we saw is AND operation. AND operation has the clearing kind of nature, and the masking bit should be 0. Whenever you use masking bit 1, it will preserve the original value. And the third one is exclusive OR. Exclusive OR is actually used to toggle. The masking bit is 1. Whenever you use 0, it will preserve the original value. Is that okay? Any other questions? Now, you also will have mini project which you need to do. So I'm thinking what to give you. Shall I give you a hard one or easy one?
Easy one.
Thank you, I'll give you a hard one. Just exclusive or you. I give a medium rate lah. Why easy? It's not time. No, I will give something which is you have to think and do. The reason is because I want you all to learn. See, if you are not put out of your comfort zone, you will never go. The only thing that for those who are going to gym or things like that, exercising, you have to feel, you have to go through the pain. Then only muscle grows like protein. You tear your muscle, then it repairs, becomes stronger, secretes the amino acids. So there's no pain, no gain. It's not that I'm a sadist, rejoicing, dying. The reason why I'm not spoon feeding every single thing is because I really want you to become a very successful engineer. I want you to become a person who can analyze, who can come up with solutions. Not only in engineering fields, but it also molds you as a personality. The way how you think, it becomes different. When you become too dependent on someone to give ideas, what you are doing, you are shutting the door of your own creativity. So only then when you put under pressure, you can actually work. And trust me, life never gets easy after this. You always think that student life is so torture. Mr. Prajin, is a horrible lecturer, he likes to torture students. But then you may think that, after this when I work, I got money, and things will be better. But you realize that you have more and more responsibilities, and you realize one thing, that things will never get easier. Things will only get complicated. What you have to do is you have to adapt yourself, and you have to learn how to manage. That's all you can do. So if you don't manage now I can see most of the students, by the time final examination, you get so stressed up. Now there was once when I was studying here in EEEB373, the first semester, I'm a transfer credit student by the way. The first semester, I took a light subject, linear algebra, statistics, calculus 3. I took some simple subjects because I wanted to score the first semester. So some of my friends, they straight away calculus 3 differential equation and also circuits 2, power pack. And bad luck for that particular semester because the morning was circuit 2, evening was DE, the next day was calculus 3. And he had another paper, but it was back to back. So he couldn't take the pressure in the first semester. You know that we have the Petronas, right? As a student, we feel very lazy to go down and take the big scooter and come to Petronas. So usually what we used to do, we'll, go against the traffic and just go by the side. So this friend of mine, he was doing that. I also used to do that. Oops, recording. But let's face it, I was never an angel when I was a student. I was also very notorious, but in a good way. So he, during finals time, so he wanted to go to Petronas. So he was going against the flow, and the car used to come on this side. Now because of the pressure, he couldn't cope up, back to back. So he was thinking at one point, shall I just go in the middle of the road so the car can bang me, so that I end up in hospital and I don't have to sit for the. So he was thinking twice, shall I go? Shall I go this bike? Well, of course, he was alive to tell a story, means he didn't go lah. But he came back and he told me, so seriously, I thought of doing that, because I say, you're really stupid lah. You were thinking about, going to hospital, minor, what if you were dead? You have to think, yeah, correct lah. That's why lah, I didn't go. But somehow or other we think that the student life is very, very pressuring. But trust me, later when you go to the industry, you're going to manage your own life. So you are going to grow, but the only growth comes when you put out of the comfort zone. And I will officiate that for you. Like coming out of the comfort zone. Can I erase the board? So these are some of the examples in slides where we already did something equivalent to this slide. So I'll just skip this. This is what we actually did. It's not, but we just chose the different bits. So next we can actually go to the application of how do we actually use this logic operation. So here in this example, you're okay? Here, write a program to find the number of elements in an array of 8-bit elements that are multiple of 8. The array is a program memory. Now let's try to analyze this question and try to understand the question. We say write a program to find out the number of elements An array of 8-bit elements is a multiple of 8. What do you understand from that? There's an array of data, right? Remember earlier we did find the maximum value. It's an array of data, right? But the array is not in data memory now. It's in program. Okay. So what you have to do, okay, that's one thing. Do you understand? The array, like earlier we did the example in chapter 2. I mean, we are still in chapter 2. Remember the example that in that array we actually try to find which is the most maximum value, if I'm not mistaken. That's the array of data, right? Each array is 8-bit, 8-bit, like that. So like that we have another array, but this array now is actually in programming. Is that okay? Next thing is find out the number of elements in an array of 8-bit elements, which is meant as the array, which are multiple of 8. What do you understand from that? What is a multiple of 8? What are multiples of 8? 8, 16, 32, anything that you can divide 8 without the remainder is actually a multiple of 8, right? So the next question comes, how? How do you find whether a value is a multiple of 8 or not? No, table pointer is to select. Now come, we focus on how do you want to find out whether each element is a multiple of 8 or not. Divide. We have not learned division yet. Compare with 1. What is the masking bit? What is the 7? I want to see the answer. The thing is, here is an application of, this is a combination of using table pointer and also using logic operations. Now here in this case we are using logic operations to filter out which elements are multiple of 8 and which elements are not multiple of 8. But before that you need to understand some things about numbers. So when you take multiple of 8, is it 8, right? This 16 is also multiple of 8. What's the next multiple of 8?
32.
What's the next multiple of 8? 24. Any other?
32.
So these are examples of multiples of 8. If you notice one thing, what is similarity between all this?
Last 3. Plus 0.
Yes, the last 3 bits are always 0. Because it's a multiple of 8, it is impossible to have any value, because this is the base number 8. You cannot have anything less than the base value here. A multiple of 8 will have minimum of this and above. In other words, the last 3 bits will always be 0 for a multiple of 8. Do you understand? Now of course you may ask, how do you know this? You won't know unless someone tells you. Or through exercise of you read somewhere. It's not that suddenly you think, oh, I got an idea. Maybe can. But it's just a matter of time. You need to spend time, you need to think how to actually come up with such solution. So when you understand this, then you can actually apply the logic operation here. So the logic operation that we can actually apply here is, we can use AND operation. We can use AND operation. And we can use the masking bit 7. So when you write the masking bit 7, this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, this is 1, 1, 1, right? Can you see this? This is the masking bit. You see, and we're going to perform AND operation. This is the AND operation. Now you see that only for the last 3 bits we